Well, the aftermath of the apparent suicide of Jeffrey Epstein has given rise to numerous questions, and the government watchdog group Judicial Watch is hoping to get some answers as it launches an investigation into Epstein's death. One America's John Hines caught up with Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, who says the circumstances of Epstein's death look like another unfolding scandal for the DOJ.
You have, of course, not had a great experience dealing with the Department of Justice in the past, so you're acting independently to try to bring some transparency into this process. Talk about why there is a need for transparency with this particular news event, the death of Mr. Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein was the Justice Department's most famous prisoner, if not one of the most famous prisoners in the world. And they took this extraordinary step of prosecuting him on charges over which he's already been prosecuted and which he had an agreement with the Justice Department on. So there were questions about that. And then, of course, he seeks bail. He's denied bail over the opposition of the Justice Department. So given all of this interest in prosecuting him, they couldn't keep him alive. Their job was to keep him alive. And there are questions whether he tried to commit suicide or whether he was assaulted. Either way, they needed to keep a closer eye on him. And now there are stories coming out of the facility in which he was imprisoned, that the guards weren't watching him, that he was taken off the suicide watch list, and other irregularities. And the Attorney General of the United States thinks something went on and needs to be investigated. So certainly Judicial Watch is going to be doing its own separate investigation. Because, you know, now he's dead. Boy, what a scandal this is.
Is it possible that there is a connection between some of these powerful people he knew and the fact that he died suddenly and somewhat surprisingly?
Well, that's why the Attorney General is so upset, and that's why Americans are so upset, because that's the question that will always be out there, no matter what the results of any official or unofficial investigation show. Dead men tell no tales. So you had Bill Clinton out there misleading Americans about how close he was to Epstein, about how often he traveled on his plane. So you got questions about the Clinton connections. You got Prince Andrew, who's been implicated in some of the trafficking and illegal sexual activity that was taking place. You've got that foreign connection. You have other major international figures, and who knows who else, both in the elite world and in the underworld, who have been connected to Epstein.
You've seen a lot of instances of corruption and malfeasance, and you have pretty good instincts for identifying this. What do you suspect here? What does your instinct tell you about this?
My instinct is that this is a political prosecution. It wasn't about obtaining justice. It was about protecting the interests, the deep state interests of the Justice Department. Maybe trying to embarrass President Trump by prosecuting someone who had been linked to him, however tangentially. And it led to the death of this guy in the custody of the Justice Department. Terrible, terrible scandal.
And this needs to get the light of day.
And you know, and that's my speculation based on all the facts and evidence out there. Other people can draw other conclusions. We're going to do a Freedom of Information. We have Freedom of Information Act requests. We're doing the journalistic investigations as well to try to figure out what went on.